sort of support is available at home and how to find that support. We're looking at shopping support. That's another one we get a lot of inquiries for. The Islington Handy Person scheme. Benefits that can help with the cost of all of these services. And when you feel you might need some extra help over and above these, and we need to consider care needs assessment through adult social care. So they're the topics we're going to be covering. Okay, so what sort of things are available? So one of the most requested areas for help is around the house, where I think we all need some help anyway, I certainly do. So help with household tasks such as cleaning, laundry and gardening. Then shopping, meal preparation. Some clients need help at home if they've got mobility issues and they're finding it difficult to get around when they're in the house and they don't know what to do. So we're going to talk about the help that's available for them. And also if you need help with personal care. So that's things like getting yourself up, getting washed and dressed, and being able to make yourself something to eat. So we'll start with cleaning, gardening and the handy person service. I have to preface all of this by saying none of these services are free. We get lots of people calling us saying, oh, you know, I need someone to come and help me around the house with cleaning, I need a gardener, my garden's getting a little bit overgrown and it's getting too much for me. Unfortunately, there are no free services available. And that is just the way of the world, unfortunately. So what we need to do then is we need to look at ways and places that you can source help with cleaning and with gardening. Obviously, one of the first things to do is ask around, ask friends, neighbours, if they've got a cleaner or a gardener or someone that's reliable that they could recommend, because usually personal recommendation is possibly one of the best ways you can go. So that's always a good place to start. Other than that, it is really looking at, it's going to be mainly online searches. But we understand that if you're not someone who is a digital user, that can be difficult. But most of the ways in which we check for these services is online. So what I would say is if you're not able to do these sort of checks with Checkatrade and Google and what have you, you can always contact at the office at Age UK and we can help with that. And also we're going to include a lot of information in this handout, which you'll also be getting later as well. So some of the things, if you are going to look for yourself to find somebody, is check the reviews on Google or on the website. Having said that, you know, reviews sometimes it can be a little bit subjective, so you have to be cautious with reading reviews, because obviously we never know who's writing those reviews. So, but you know, it's one of the few things we've got to be guided by. It's always better if you can to get a few quotes from different companies, because they do vary greatly. These are just sort of some protective things. Be very wary of anybody who asks for money up front. Always agree what the payment terms and conditions are, any agreements you have with them before you ask somebody to come and do some work for you. And don't feel pressured. Sometimes they say things like, oh, I can do it for you really quickly, or I'll give you a bit more discount. If you're not entirely happy, do not feel pressured into bringing a cleaner or a gardener or anyone else into your home to do jobs for you if you're not 100% sure. It's quite all right to say, no thank you, or I'll get back to you. Shopping support. This is another area that we get a lot of calls about. Things typically like, you know, I'm just finding it harder and harder to get out on my own. It could be because they've got mobility issues. It could be somebody that's been recently discharged from hospital and for a short period of time while they're recuperating, they just simply can't go out and do shopping. Again, what we say to that is, see if there are any friends or neighbours or family that could maybe do a little bit of shopping for you once a week or so. If you've been unwell, maybe until you're back on your feet. If it's a more long-term thing where you can't get out to do your shopping, there are actually quite a few options for this. Again, if you're somebody that is familiar with the internet, there's always the option to do an online shop. with one of the supermarkets. Again, if you're not somebody who's comfortable using the internet or doing it that way, Sainsbury's and Morrison's have telephone ordering service, which they don't advertise massively, but they are there. And we've had clients that have used them and have been very, very happy with them. So you can call and register with them. Again, they don't take any money up front. You pay when you have the items delivered, and it's contactless or card payment, so they don't take cash. So no cash will change hands. So that's a very good option as well. I don't personally use them myself. But you can use some of the apps like Let's Eat or Uber Eats and things like that if you just want to order a few items from a local shop. I don't know if anybody uses those or whether they use the apps, but anyway, that's another option as well. So all these numbers have been included, so if you're interested in that. Again, family and friends, if there's anyone around. If all else fails, you would really be looking at a carer through an agency maybe to come in and do some shopping for you once a week, but that could be quite expensive way to do it. So if any of these other options are viable, then I would suggest they're probably better options initially. But again, if you're not sure, by all means, please do feel free to call our helpline and we can give you some further guidance. Okay, another very, very sought after service is the clients that have got odd jobs and things that need doing at home. So I'm talking about things like maybe putting flat pack furniture together, or moving some furniture, or putting up some curtain rails, or changing light bulbs, things like that. So we're not sort of talking major renovations here, unfortunately. But Islington have got a handy person scheme. There is an eligibility criteria for this, so it's open to older residents, those with a disability, and carers receiving carers allowance. You do not have to be a council tenant to use the service. You can be a private resident. Other than those in this first category here, they will also consider people who have a low income as well. So you don't necessarily have to have a health condition. So the current charges are, if you're on a low income, is £10 an hour, which I think is actually pretty good. And even if you are not on a low income, it's £25 an hour. So it's probably best if you've got a few jobs, maybe they can come and do the whole lot in one go. And the current wait time is about 2 weeks to get somebody from the handy person service. So again, it's not too long a wait. They all do things like fitting shelves and curtain rails, as I mentioned before, light bulbs. They can do minor plumbing repairs. I think they do things like they can fix, if you've got a dripping tap, they can put new washers on for you. They do actually plumbing washing machines. But they're not going to do any major plumbing work. They can do minor electrical jobs, probably things like just sort of rewiring a socket, if you've got a new socket that needs putting in. Security improvements, so they can install a Ring doorbell for you. Now they're getting more and more popular. A lot of residents are using those now for security purposes, and we get a lot of questions. I can buy it, but I need somebody to install it. Again, which can be very expensive if you're bringing in an electrician or somebody, but this handy person service will do that. They can do small household repairs. If you've got like a kitchen cupboard that's broken or hanging off its hinges, they'll come in, I'm just using that off the top of my head, but they'll come in and they can do little repairs and things like that. And then the other thing they do, and they've just introduced this earlier this year, is gardening, which I think is going to be extremely popular because that's another thing that we get an awful lot of inquiries about. But it is just light gardening, so they're not going to put a new patio down for you or put a new fence up for you or anything like that. It's going to be little things like tidying up the lawn, some pruning and stuff like that. They can probably do things like, if you've got it, a bit of jet washing as well. So that's the remit of the Islington Handy Person Service. So I think it's a very, very valuable service, and we do refer a lot of clients to that service. So, I mentioned before, this is the painful bit now, is these things do have to be paid for, and a lot of people can't afford them. So this is where we come in at looking at what additional help is available if you qualify. So the first one I'm going to look at is attendance allowance. So that is for clients who are state pension age or over and have an ongoing health condition or disability, which means that they may need extra help at home, to do things, or someone to help with shopping and cleaning and gardening. So it's whatever help you need. It's not limited to one thing. You might need somebody to help you go to appointments and things like that. So it's not a means tested benefit, and that's very important. So it's not going to affect other benefits that you're getting. There are two rates for attendance allowance if you apply and are successful. So the mid rate is currently £75 a week, and the high rate is just over £100 a week. So well worth looking into if you think you may have long-term health, if you know rather that you have a long-term health condition or disability. And Age UK Islington can help you with that application. We do an online application which we can help you with if you get in touch with our helpline. Okay. The other one is pension credit. Now this is one of the most underclaimed benefits that a lot of clients and residents in the borough are not aware of. So pension credit it's for clients who are not in receipt of a full state pension. So if for whatever reason you did not pay enough contributions over the years for your national insurance and you're not getting your full allowance, there's a possibility that it could be topped up with pension credit to bring you up to the maximum pension. Having said that, this is means tested because the DWP will look at any other income you've got coming in. So it could be that you're still working, it could be that you've got a private pension coming in. So it's not an automatic thing, but if you have no other income other than your state pension, the chances are you would qualify for pension credit. So, as I said, Age UK Islington, we can help you with attendance allowance. So again, you just need to contact the helpline and we can organise it from there, an appointment with you. For any of these others, pension credit, PEP, DNA, Universal Credit, ESA, you can get a full benefits check with income maximisation team. You can make an appointment to see them, or you can email them. Unfortunately, they don't take calls. So, but again, we can help do a referral for you if you're unable to do it yourself. They will do a full benefit check for you to make sure that you are getting everything that you should be getting, because it's in the title. What their job is to make sure that you're getting the maximum income that you're entitled to. If you are entitled to some of these and you're not getting them, they will help you with the applications as well. So there's a lot of help out there with these types of benefits. So the last area we're going to look at is something, again, I mentioned earlier. If you get to a point where you think you're just not coping at home, it could be that you live alone, or you've got family that just aren't able to fully support you for whatever reason because they may have commitments of their own, and you feel that you're struggling to the degree where you're finding it hard to get up in the morning, to get washed, so to do your personal care, to get dressed, do your cooking, or generally you just feel unable to manage at home. That's the time when you can consider looking at what help is available through adult social care. Because again, there is help available, and that comes in the form of what's called a care needs assessment. Now, what would happen with a care needs assessment, I don't know if people in here in the room have had one, but basically, and I'll give you the very short version because it could be a lot longer in real life with current waiting lists, but you can get in touch with adult social care, or again, Age UK Islington can help with that referral. They will assess whether you are actually eligible for a care needs assessment, because you really do need to meet this criteria that you're struggling with washing, dressing, cooking, and just generally unable to cope at home. So what would happen is a social worker would come to your home and they'll sit and they'll talk to you. It takes about 45 minutes an hour. It's quite an in-depth assessment of what you feel your needs are, what support there is around you, what risks that there may be in terms of safeguarding, and then they will determine whether they're able to offer you a package of care. Now that can come in many forms. It could be that you might get a carer that comes in twice in the morning, for instance, to help you get up and get dressed and get you breakfast. And they may come in the evening then to help you get ready for bed. That's just an example. It could be that the social worker feels that if you have some extra equipment and adaptations in your home, if you have mobility issues, that can help you stay independent and at home. And that would be done through the occupational therapy team. Again, we can help with the referral to that team if that's needed. But again, having said all of this, if you do get to the point where you wish to take a package of care, if it's offered, there will be a financial assessment done, because all services that you may or may not be aware in adult social care have to be paid for, and residents are expected to make a contribution to that cost, depending on their financial situation. Now, it can be quite complex, and everybody's income and savings and assets are different, so I don't want to get too much into that in case I give out-of-date information. The one thing I can tell you though is that if you have savings or income of more than 23,250 a year, the council would not subsidise any of your care. You would end up having to pay for everything if you decided to take that package of care. If your income is above that, you could still have the package, but you'd have to pay for all of it, or you could choose to employ your own carer. So there are various options. So just to sort of sum up, because obviously I've given you a lot of information there about different services that are available, and these are all going to be made available to you. So we've got Age UK Islington, our helpline. It's always a good starting place. We're very happy to point you in the right direction if we can't help you. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So that really sums up. It's only a brief overview today, just to let you know what is available, because these are some of the most sought after services, where people just need that little bit of extra help at home.